What's up, everybody? Welcome into the OBR streaming network and for another Monday episode of GameTape. We're your hosts. I'm Jacob. That's Sam Penix. We're happy to be with you once again. Hope you're having a great start to your week on this Monday. We're here at 7 p.m. We'll be on 7 p.m. Moving forward, move it up. Hope you guys enjoyed Browns 3D at 6 o'clock. Jeff's always doing a great job there. So make sure you're hitting subscribe and give us a thumbs up, hit that bell so you know every time we post content. We got shows for you every night, Monday through Friday, multiple times a night. So make sure you tune in. Sam, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Wrapping up a busy period on the schedule. So the dog days of summer are coming up next.
Yeah, it's always like this weird, like, especially when it comes to content creation, you're like, man, I got to find something and things like that. It's just, it gets a little bit crazy this time of year. And we got OTAs and a bunch of stuff. But yeah, no, man, dog days of summer, like, I spend all winter long hoping for them. So I'm happy that at least on some level that we're here.
I could do without the heat, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, that's a fairly accurate and great point because it is a little annoying. All right, guys, we're going to dive into Quinshon Judkins today. We have already so far hit the first two draft picks, Carson Schlesinger, Mason Graham. You can find them here on our YouTube channel. If you go back and check in the live section, you'll see the game tape episodes. We are pre-recording this on Monday morning because I work second shift, so we're not currently actually live. So I do apologize for that aspect of it. But we're going to jump in here to Quinshon Judkins, who's probably my favorite pick. A little bit of that is homerism as an Ohio State fan. I like that, but I just think, yeah, you got see. I didn't put mine on today, but so there's a little bit of that. I love it when there's actually an Ohio State player coming out in the draft that is at a position that the Browns need, and they may actually take him. And I felt that way about Judkins and Henderson. I was like, one of those guys could very easily be a target for the Browns. So as an Ohio State fan, I'm like, this is awesome. We're getting it, and it didn't come. In this time, it finally did come, and it ends up being Judkins, who I think is a true workhorse. So I'm really excited to get into his tape. So before we jump into the tape, we're just going to go through a little bit of our scouting report on him, and then we're going to show you some film examples. So Sam, just what stands out the most, overall, just when talking about Quinshon Judkins?
I think the biggest thing is his toughness as a runner. He is just so physical, and he's the kind of guy who he has the athleticism and the fluidity to maneuver around and make you miss that way. But he doesn't want to, right? He would rather just run straight through your face, just pound you into the turf, and laugh at you for it, right? And make sure you knew what happened. And I think that's awesome, right? That's the kind of mindset you want in your bell cow running back, and it led to him being extremely productive at Ole Miss as the lead guy, and then playing a bit of a different role at Ohio State, where he's kind of, the thunder to Henderson's lightning, and that worked extremely well also. So regardless of how he's being used, I think his toughness, his physicality, and his mindset just jumps off the tape, and it makes him an extremely fun watch.
Yeah, he's always going to, and I've got several examples of this, but he's always going to fall forward. Like there's this one play that I have where he gets hit at like a yard or two past the line of scrimmage, right around the line of scrimmage, ends up being a 4-yard gain, and he gets hit by a big defensive tackle from Alabama. And you're like, okay, like he's always going to, and that's the stuff you loved about Kareem Hunt when he was here, when Kareem Hunt was in his prime with Nick Chubb being the 1A to 1B. And I think that's it's going to be flipped where Nick Chubb was the 1A and Kareem Hunt was the 1B. And I think in this case, it's Quinshon Judkins as the 1A and Dylan Sampson as the 1B. Mm-hmm. But he's always going to find a way to get forward. There's not a lot of negative yardage plays with Judkins because he can just lower his shoulder and power through a little bit and at least get something out of nothing. I really like his contact balance, to your point, like with the toughness and things like that. Like he pairs it with really good contact balance to where he can take a hit and he can dish out a hit, and he can take a hit and keep going and able to regain his balance in the open field. And there's this one play against Alabama that I'll highlight that just there was nothing there, and he just kind of spins, and he's like, I'll just go this way and just and go there. I think he's a prototypical workhorse back. I think he gets stronger as he gets more carries later in the game. And it's like, it's the fourth quarter and he's been running over you for 3 quarters. He's going to lower his shoulder and he's going to just wear you down. Like the power.
I do not want to do that anymore. Like, please don't run it. Please.
Yeah. You do not want to. Like, it's one of those things where you're in the fourth quarter as a defensive back. You're like, I don't want to tackle this guy again. Like, but like to your point, the burst is there. There's some explosiveness. He doesn't have elite top speed. You see him get caught. He gets caught from behind quite a bit, but that's what Dylan Sampson's for. Just to be clear, Dylan Sampson's not a guy that usually gets caught from behind. But like, we'll talk about him in a couple of weeks. But like, he can make you miss. I don't see him stringing together a ton of different like jukes and moves. I think his hips are a little tight sometimes. But like, he can make you miss, and he's got enough burst where you're like, oh, this is a power running back. He can't get to the outside. He can't get the edge. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. And that sort of thing. I think he really has everything you want. He's a great athlete. He's got burst. He's explosive. He's got good top speed, and above all, he's just a powerful player who I think can hold up to 25 plus carries a game.
Yeah. I think he kind of got underrated in this running back class. And I mean, we're probably guilty of that too, but I think just because of how good this class was, and we expected all these guys to come off the board, kind of in that late second, early third area, just because of the value there. But the NFL saw it differently, and the Browns thought that he was a guy who should go in the top 40. I think it's hard to argue with that based on his tape and his athletic profile. So I think fans are going to be happy with him, long term. I think he's going to be a great fit here for what this team wants to do in the running game. And I think he's just going to be a very effective and enjoyable player.
I think effective and enjoyable to watch. Yeah, that's really well said. I think it's just like, because I'm going to show you some clips too, where he's just like, maybe there's a better place. Like, he's got some vision concerns. Sometimes I think he misses things, some cutback lanes and stuff like that, and he just lowers his shoulders and goes forward. But
he's been spoiled with vision, right? Like, I think I talked about this before, like during one of our mock draft duels, but it's really unfair.
Yeah.
To be comparing every running back to Nick Chubb. Like,
that's true.
Feet, power, vision, patience, like it's just so unfortunate what happened, because he is special, and he's special in multiple ways that usually guys don't get both of those, right? You get one or the other, and he just had it all. And Judkins doesn't have his level of vision. I don't think he's not like a blind.
He's not Trent
out
Richardson
there, but he's not Trent Richardson. But he'll leave some things, where it's like, oh, you could have, if only you had cut it back there, if you had been a little bit more patient, not hit the hole so hard here, you could have waited a little bit and had an opening here. Hopefully that's something that can come with time as he gains more experience in the same blocking scheme. But he's not a perfect prospect, but he's a really good one. And I don't think that's something that's going to prevent him from being a great player.
It's like a nitpicky thing. And that's what's good about him as a prospect, is we kind of have to nitpick. It's like, I'm like for me, negatives on him. I think he leaves some opportunities on the field with his vision. But again, like you said, like, it's not poor. It's not Trent Richardson. Like, it's not that bad. But he leaves some things on the table. And yes, we're comparing him to Nick Chubb, and that is not fair to the young man at all. Like, you said it very well. That is not fair to him at all. And then the only other thing is, I think he needs to refine his technique as a blocker, because when he's in run support or pass support, he just tries to lower his shoulder and hit you. I've got some clips of him being effective and him not being effective. But like, if he can refine technique and hand usage and placement, like, he's got the boom to be a good pass protector. And so like, but it got away with it in college, where he just kind of would lower his shoulder and just kind of try to explode through you. And like, it works with some people, but not with others. Like, it just depends on who he was hitting. And it's going to be a lot harder to be able to pull it off in that fashion in the NFL. But, like, man, you get him in there and you teach him a little bit of how, if he can refine the technical aspect of it, he can be really good at it, because he wants to hurt you. Like, you even said it. This is my one thing that I did want to make sure I put out here. It's good and bad. There are sometimes I think he could make someone miss in the open field with his athleticism, but he chooses to run them over instead. And sometimes it gets a little annoying. You're like, I get it. But, like, if you see him line up at linebacker or defensive back, he's just going to try to take their soul. Like, he's like, I'm coming through you. I'm going through your chest. I'm like, Quinshon, I think you probably could have got 5 or 6 more yards if you had juked him out, because he has the athleticism and the agility to, get a little shifty, make some jump cuts and things like that. But sometimes he just doesn't do that. And it's like, to an extent, it's great, but at the NFL, it's going to be harder to be as effective doing that. But, like, it's just nitpicky things with him. It's like, he doesn't have elite top speed, okay, but he has really good one. He's pretty explosive once he gets on his height. Once he makes a decision, his vision is sometimes spotty, but it's like, he's a phenomenal athlete. He ran in the 4.4s at what, 224 or something like that is what he ran, what he weighed at the combine. He ran like a 4.48. Are you shitting me? Like, it's like, he's got the size, he's got the power and the explosiveness, and I think he can be just a lead back in the NFL, and I think he can be really good.
Yep.
So let's do it, Sam. I'll put you on the stage. Let's go through some of this. Oh, you did the same thing as me. You got some Ole Miss tape mixed in here too. I like that.
Yep. So this is Auburn 2023. So we kind of get a good idea of the usage patterns from both when he was a lead guy and when he's in a high octane dual back offense.
Yeah.
So I think this looks to me like inside zone, which is something that the Browns will run. It's not as prevalent as outside zone, but they will do this. So obviously it's nice when you have a big hole there. So you can see this. I knew we talked about vision, but he's usually pretty quick to react when he sees something opening up, or he anticipates something opening up. He'll notice it and react to it really quickly. And I think this is a good example. So right off the bat, the center double teams the tackle here with the guard, but then he gets his head around and he sees the linebacker, and then he's able to peel back. And once Judkins sees that the center is heading towards the linebacker, he hits this hole fast. And something that you'll notice, just watching him, he does lack that top gear, I think. But I don't know that it's that much of a problem, because he'll get to his top speed quickly, right? So if it's within like 20, 30, 40 yards, I don't think it's an issue, because his acceleration is really good to the point where he's at top speed really quickly, and so he can eat up that space. It's those long 50, 60, 70 yard down the sideline runs where he's kind of gassed. He's a bigger back. He's at top speed quickly. He's going to get caught from behind. But if it's within that 20, 30, 40, chunk plays, where that's where the majority of those big hits are made anyways, right? How often is a guy running 360 yards down the sideline? It doesn't happen that often. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I think his speed is very good in that shorter area of the field where the majority of his big chunk plays are going to happen. So I thought this was a good example of that.
Yeah,
you can see, he's. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like you said, maybe he at least lacks that elite top speed there, but he just ripped off 20 yards. Like, so I can live with like ripping off 20 yards. You may not be able to finish the big home run, but those chunk plays, they matter.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So then, like you were saying before, he rarely goes down without a fight. He's always falling forward, right? So this is another great example of that. So he gets hit at the line of scrimmage, and then he's twisting, and then he's still going. So like, this is a dead play. The guy's at gator tackling, He's got him by his foot, and he just sits on top of the guy and then gets up.
Yeah.
He's always fighting for yards. Like that's just it's just really fun to watch, right? I think this is another great example of it. So watch, he's going to get stopped for what should be at most a no gain, and he ends up getting 5 yards out of this, right? So like this is just comical stuff. Look, there's 3 guys there.
Yeah. He's like, whoa,
right?
He's like dancing like, where do
and
I
they,
go?
And they barely even touch him. And this is a power back doing this.
Yeah.
5-yard gain. So that's the kind of stuff you're going to see just because that's the kind of runner that he is.
Yeah, it's fascinating that some of the athletic things he does at that size, like that right there, like he puts the move.
Yeah,
on
this is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
like he's close to full speed here, and then that guy doesn't even touch him. Right, the safety's breaking down here, not expecting him to have that kind of a wiggle, but he does. Like he's a special runner. So this next one is going to be some outside zones. You'll see this a lot on Sundays. And he can do it, right? He's reading. He sees that with outside zone, you're reading outside in. So ideally it goes outside, and then you kind of work your way into the gaps, depending on what's happening. So the center is double teaming here. The tackle has inside leverage on the edge, so your gap is here, and he sees that. He's able to get through. This guy has no chance because he's engaged with the guard. He's trying to arm tackle him, which is not going to work ever. And good gain. Right? I think that's kind of like the 8, 10, 12-yard bursts, I think, are going to be pretty consistent with him. As long as this offensive line can kind of get some better athletes on it. So that's a work in progress for this team. So his best days are going to be beyond his rookie season, I'll say. So this is a pass pro rep, and this is kind of what you're saying. It's not physical ability that's the problem; it's technique. So this is he kind of just stands here. Like ultimately, like it doesn't affect the play, so it's fine. But he just kind of stands here, waits for the linebacker, and then engages him. So yes, you're 221 pounds. You're a strong power back, but you're not big enough to just like stand there, plant, and take on the contact of a linebacker with a full head of steam. And he's got to understand that. And that's just going to get worse in the NFL because the linebackers are bigger, stronger, faster. So he needs to be initiating contact here, right? He's got to be quicker to react to this. And then once he sees 15 coming in, you need to take a step and engage and shoot your hips through into that linebacker so you can stop him in his tracks. He has the ability to do that. Just consistently doing that technique wise, I think is going to take some time to get to. So, all right. Next, I think this is a duo run. So we got 2 double teams here. He quickly realizes that 13 is trying to fill this gap, and then he bounces outside immediately. And that leads to a big gain. And then, he bowling ball through 2 guys at the end, for flair. So that's always fun.
It's just like, if he sees that opportunity to like try to demoralize somebody and just go right through their, he's gonna take it. If it is there, he's gonna take it.
Yeah. So we're into Ohio State tape now. This is an example of when he does kind of do the right thing and blocking. So he's lead blocking here, lowers his shoulder, and he is able to pop the linebacker here and open up that hole. So he's got it in him. He has the power, obviously. It's just, can he do that consistently? So here's an example of his burst and then like stiff arm there. Like what's great is when he stiff arms someone, it's not just, he just like shoves them off. Like he rams him into
Yeah.
the turf, and it's just so much fun to watch.
It's a finishing move. It's not just like a
Yep.
casual thing.
It's just comical. Like they hit the ground so hard. Hilarious. So I think this is a cut block here. So he's like, that's important, right? So he sees 41, who's going to be affecting this throw no matter what, and he's able to get enough of him to append him and give Howard the time he needs to complete that pass. Again, the reaction time is good.
Yeah.
The physical ability is good. He can be a really good pass protector. He just got to get there. It's going to take some coaching.
Yeah, it's that simple, man. In my mind.
So here's a pass receiving game rep. Unfortunately, your drops this one. I don't think he's the best receiver out of the backfield. Again, he can do it. I just don't think he's the most natural pass catcher. And if he's able to develop in that area of the game, which I think he did more, there was a broader variety of things that he did in the pass game at Ole Miss. So, he has tape doing it. If he can develop there, I think he can really take his game to the next level because, having the ability to be a good pass catching back in this Browns offense is really valuable. And that's something that, as amazing as Chubb was, he was never a fantastic receiver. And if Judkins can build on that, I think that could be really valuable for this team. So again, we're talking about, the long speed might not be there, but he eats up yards in a hurry, and he can, like, that's what, 20 yards, 15 yards?
Yeah.
5, 10, 15. It's like, oh, like he already went 15 yards just because he can get to top gear really quickly. His transmission's really good. So
he gets that burst where it's like nobody's even making contact with him until it's 12, 13 yards downfield.
Right. Yep. And this is another example of it where there's green and he takes advantage of it and then runs over number 1 here. And it's like it doesn't even look like he gets contacted, right? He's just full speed. Oh, he's still up. So those are the 2 games that I had on him at this point. There'll be more, in written form at some point, but he's just fun. Like he's just fun, enjoyable to watch. And you can see that translating to the NFL, right? There's no physical limitation there. There's no concerns about him. Speed, strength, agility. Is he the most fluid-hipped guy? No. Is he the most anticipatory, gifted vision guy? No. Is he deficient in either of those areas to be concerning at the NFL level? I don't think so. And I think he has 1,500 yard potential as a bell cow at the next level for sure.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I'll just bring up some of my stuff and we'll go through it from that side. So, they're mixed together, but I've got a little bit of some Ole Miss versus Alabama tape, and then the national championship. I want to highlight some things. Here's the play that I was talking about. He's going to get like 3-4 yards on this play. But watch him get contacted by the defensive tackle right around the line of scrimmage. And you're going to see it. He's going to get hit right there. And he gets about 3 yards. You can see it a little bit better from this angle. But he's going to get contacted right around here. And he ends up about right there. About 2 yards down the field. You see he gets contacted there. And he just kind of – it looks almost like he shouldered the guy. Like he just kind of like threw him over his shoulder a little bit and was like, I'm just going to go this way a little bit. And it's just like, okay, he fell forward. He got
strength training for him.
Yeah, he was just getting a workout in real quick.
Yeah.
Here's another case where he just kind of, this is a good and a bad. So what you're going to see is I think he could have cut back here and probably potentially got more yardage. But what he does, he's going to get in here. Like, I think he could try to cut back. That's a big ask, I know. I know it's a big ask, but that's kind of there. But what he is able to do is, this is a mess right here. He's just going to lower his shoulder and just push it forward a little bit, get 2 or 3 yards where like he knows he's going to be able to do that. This is a pass protection rep that I really like from him, where he's going to make contact. He's going to get under the defender's pad level, and he's going to kind of just guide him away from the quarterback. Like, and he does a good job here because you see he runs over here after the fake, and he just kind of holds on to him for a little bit, and Dart's able to.
And he initiated. He was the first one to initiate contact. That's what he's got to do. If he can do that, he can be really good.
Yeah. In this play, it's in the national championship. You see him at the very top of the screen. This is where it's interesting that I was surprised some of this didn't happen more at Ohio State, because I like him in the open field. But watch him take a screen pass here at the top of the screen and just kind of navigate some traffic. He's going to go this way, then he's going to change direction, lower his shoulder, change direction again, and then he's just going to dish out some punishment. Like, I really enjoy it. You can't see it quite as good from this angle, but you'll see a little bit of it where, you know, there's these guys. He's like, okay, that's not great. He makes a cutback, makes the linebacker look silly. At 220 pounds, he's doing those sorts of things. And that's what gets me, is adding his size into the equation for all this crap. It's like, that's a lot of agility and change of direction for a guy that's over 220. Like, it's awesome. But here you'll see the burst here. He's going to gets the top gear, gets in the, he gets caught. This is where you talk about okay, he doesn't have that second level. That's that finishing gear, but he's going to move to the right. He's going to find the hole. He's going to stop. I mean, he can tell, like, hey, this is big. This is big. I see it. When he identifies these holes quickly, like you talked about, he's able to get on his horse and explode quicker and get into the second level. You just see him, the run to the right here. This is in the national championship. I'm sorry, he changes direction. My bad. How about you call the play the way it actually happens? That would be cool. I just was, but you can see him. He's going to the left. He changes field here. Counter, and he's like, nope, there's nothing there, but right there is. And then he's like, okay, bye. Like, he completely changed his direction. He had already taken steps to the left, and he ends up taking this to the right and getting like 60 plus yards. Like, he can make people miss with that.
If you focus on him getting caught from behind, after 70 yards or whatever it was, you're going to miss all the stuff that he did to create that big play in the first place. Yeah. What's more translatable?
Well, and are you going to take a 70-yard run, or are you going to not take him because he didn't get that final 4? It's like he's got enough to create chunk plays like that, and he's got enough to where he can create that chunk play, and then he can have the power to finish it a snap or two later. Like, like 3rd and goal on the 1, just give it to him. Like, you're fine. He'll get there. But the kind of move he puts, I forgot he put that move on the backfield. I was so, like you said, I was so caught up in him going to the right and doing everything. But then you see it from the end zone, and you're like, oh, that was a counter to the left. So it was a double misdirection. Will Howard goes to the right like he's going to hand it off, and then turns around because it's a counter. He takes a few steps to the left, and then he cuts back. I'm just going to watch it again. How about that? We'll just watch it again. Like, it's just, it's crazy because it starts this way, goes this way, and then bounces all the way back. If you can see my cursor there. I need to get better technology, but it's just, I love this play because he's going to take it, go over here. There's really nothing there, but he can see that cutback. He bounces into it, explodes through it, and now he's running to the other side of the field to try to kill an angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's an example of him bouncing it out, that stiff arm to the ground. Now he's just going to finish. Like, that's good red zone shit, man. His nose for the end zone once he gets down there in the red zone, like his ability to you talked about the stiff arm, like just being on a different level. He just discards people. He puts them in the ground, makes sure he's not going to push you away from him. Like, he's not that kind of stiff armor. He wants to push you down. He wants to get rid of you. But he's going to bounce this to the outside, discard a guy, lower his shoulder. He gets contact, I think, at the 3-yard line here. At the 5. He gets...
There's like 3 or 4 guys in there, between him and the end zone.
And he just lowers it and kind of launches himself through it. Like the power in his lower body is insane. This is just an example of him navigating traffic. Not a lot here, but him trying to find a seam, and then he's able to find just kind of a little sliver of daylight, and he's able to utilize it to get I think he gets 5 yards or so on this play. But you could just see there's really nothing there. He maybe could have cut back a little bit, and then he just kind of decides to go to the left, lowers his shoulder. He still gets 4 or 5 yards out of a pretty muddy situation there, where there was just not a lot there. I like this play is fun because it shows you some of the things he can do as a pass protector. This is a receiving, or not pass protector, as a receiver here. What I really like is he comes up here like he's going to do something to this linebacker right here. Kind of throws him for a loop. And then he's just going to sneak out, and he's going to find a hole in the coverage and just kind of hang out there for Will Howard to find. This is also a really good play for Will Howard to actually find Quinshon Judkins in this play, because he just puts on a move, then he just kind of slips back there, just kind of hangs out. And it's like, I felt like Notre Dame and some other teams got so used to him just not producing in the run and the receiving game that they didn't pay attention to him when he leaked out, and especially on this play, he kind of puts a move like he's going to hit him or something. He puts a move on him, and then once he slips behind him, he realizes there's nobody between him and the back of the end zone, and there's nobody else around him. And you see him, hey, right here, get my attention. He's able to find the hole in the zone, and it ends up being a score here. Because he kind of comes up and he hesitates, does a little juke him, and he's like, oh, everybody's just going, okay, I'm just going to sit here. I'm sitting in the hole in the zone, try to make myself known, and see what happens. Here's kind of another pass blocking rep. This play doesn't go super well. He kind of gets it, but I think he's trying to cut him there, and I think he doesn't fully get a hold of him, so the guy's able to still kind of get back there a little bit, but it was effective. That wasn't the guy that affected the play. So again, just refine your technique, because I think you can do it. This one, he decides he's not going to go down, and then he's going to get the corner and do this. He literally, it's the most muddy situation you're ever going to see. He runs into the back of things, but he's got the wherewithal, and he's kind of hobbling around. He's got the body. Look at him. He's like, oh, yeah, no. I can, the contact balance to recover, get the outside, get some burst, and lower his shoulder at the end of the play. That had a little bit.
That one needs the cartoon sound effect, where they're running away.
Yeah,
as he gets out of that pile.
It's just so funny because there's nowhere to go with that based on where he goes. He goes straight up. He follows his blockers. There's nothing there. And he kind of not most running backs, especially of that size, you see him where he kind of gets moved back as he's doing the spin. He kind of gets knocked back a little bit. Guys of that size are not getting knocked back, recovering, and then taking it 30 yards downfield. It's just, he's just a really powerful back. And see, this is exactly what I was talking about with his pat. He's a lead blocker here, and he lowers his shoulder and tries to lay the boom to take this guy out. He's unable to do it, and the guy makes the play. He does help make it a bigger gain than normal, but he hits Xavier Watts there, and he's able to still hit him. And that's just because you see him just kind of. He just tries to
the contact, but you gotta sustain it and drive him.
Exactly. He doesn't even put his hands on him. He just lowers his shoulder, makes the contact, makes the hit. If he's got his hands on him and then, like you said, maintain and drive him, yeah, it's a good play. Here goes to the outside, burst. It's just a bowling ball play. He's going to bounce this to the outside. Then you say, oh, okay. I'll take you on for a little bit extra yardage there. Another one where he gets to the outside, has that burst to get out there, identifies the lane, lowers his shoulder. And this is a lot of what you see. Just a lot of, you talked about the 8 to 10 yard runs. Like there's a lot of them. Where he's able to do that and, get out there and get, a very positive gain there. Look at this.
I think that's what drew the Browns to him, right? Like,
yeah.
How many times over the past few years have you seen, the running back gets, whether it's Chubb, Ford, whoever, big gain, 60, 70 yards, and then they follow it up with, 8 carries for 9 yards or something, because there's too much getting hit at the line of scrimmage and just going down, or losing yards because they're trying to find room and they can, run around. He's not that kind of guy, right? He's falling forward, but he's also always looking to just get vertical, right? He's not gonna get wide and then get run out of bounds 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And those down to down 4 or 5 yards is what the true value is in, beyond those big, once every few weeks burst plays, right? The down to down, 4, 5, 6 yards a carry consistently, and you'll find yourself down the field in no time.
He finds the corner and he turns it. Like you said, he's not getting ran out of bounds. No, he's turning the corner, even if it's only for 2 or 3 yards. He's turning the corner. Here's an example of the insane body control here that he has. Because if you watch him, look at this. He's turned backward and somehow.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I'll get it back here. It's
not only to have the balance and strength to not go down, but to keep yourself oriented forward down the field.
You can see him here. His backside is falling down. And he just kind of puts his hand down, steadies himself, and gets up and gets like 4 or 5 more yards. It's the power and the contact balance. You look at it and you're just like, that was 8 to 10 yards. I mean, I know we keep coming back to that point that you made, but like he's going to get those positive yardage plays to keep you ahead of the chains. That's been an issue for the Browns, especially last year, where they just were not able to stay ahead of the chains. They were in 3rd and long a lot. And this is a situation where this guy is going to make, even if you give it to him on 1st down, he gets 4 yards. You give it to him again, 3rd and 2. You're going to get a lot of those situations, more so. Or what did they do a lot of? Incomplete pass on 1st down, then they'd run the ball on 2nd down and get a yard. And then it's 3rd and 9. But I feel like you're going on 2nd and 10, you hand it to him. I feel like it's 3rd and 6 at worst. Like it's 3 or 4 yards from him. It's like Chubb at his peak was so consistent and had the explosives. We talk about this with Jerome Ford and the issues with him, that he's very boomer bust. Like Jerome Ford is very boomer bust. Like so many negative yardage plays, but he has those explosives. Well, with Nick Chubb, it was consistent. You were getting 4 yards or more a carry pretty much every rep, and then he would add the explosives. Nick Chubb is more explosive than Quinshon Judkins in terms of top speed. I guess that's not really explosive, but he's got more elite run away from you speed. But Quinshon's got that consistently 4 or 5 yards. And then if the opportunity presents itself for an explosive, he'll get it. But in most cases, he's just looking to maximize each rep and get really somewhere between 4 and 20 yards consistently. And it's some of those things where he's not necessarily going to hit a ton of home runs. He has the ability, and we've seen it. But like for him, you're going to see a lot more of the 8 to 20 yards than you're going to see like 40 yards. But he can do it. We saw plenty, and he's just so consistent. It's just that's what they've been missing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're going to benefit a lot from having that consistency from your lead back. And I think, as we'll get to him later on, but I think that's going to pair really well with Dylan Sampson and whoever the other running back is on the on the roster, whether that is Ford or somebody else. I just think the skill sets in that room, it's completely remade now, right? So it looks so different than how it looked last year, and I think they're going to benefit a lot from that, just because of how impactful Judkins' skill set is to this offense. I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
How impactful staying ahead of the chains is.
Yep.
Like, I just don't see a lot of negative plays from him, man. I just don't.
Nope.
And
Nope.
Obviously, if they have no passing game, the boxes are going to get stacked. So I understand that there needs some yin and some yang there. But like whoever the quarterback is going to benefit from Quinshon Judkins a ton.
Yep, absolutely.
I think it's that simple. Like, and that's where it comes to me where like, I love this dude. I can't wait till he changes his number to whatever the real one's going to be so I can put him on the wall because I'm not buying one of those 10s. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it, Quinshon. I'm sorry. But no, I love this pick. I think it puts that run offense on track to be back to where they are. So, guys, we appreciate you so much for checking in on us. Next week, we will have Harold Fannin, which I'm pretty excited about that too, the FBS leader in receiving yards, because as we'll talk about next week, he was the entire Bowling Green offense, and yet they still couldn't do shit to stop him. And I know he was doing it in the MAC and things like that, so he's got some adjustments. But like, he's a really fun, explosive player that can help this passing game, and he'll benefit from Quinshon too. Like, I think that kind of thing. So we'll be back next Monday at 7. Jeff back tomorrow at 6 with Browns 3D, and Brad and Pete with the React tomorrow night at 7. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for checking in. We'll see you guys again next time, as always.